I remind myself, and I even get goosebumps just giving this to you now. He said to me something that was extremely powerful. This is where most people stop.
First time I think I've ever really cried to my wife, but I said we will never go through this again.
This year I'm not allowing mediocrity in my circle. Guys, welcome to The Real Deal with Alan and Andrew, another episode. First of all, we want to say thank you for supporting us. We know you could be anywhere in the world, but you're choosing to be here with us. So we thank you genuinely from the bottom of our hearts. Today we got a special guest. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Mr. Aron Lofton, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Here. Tell us, where are you from?
Good question. Originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I've been in Texas for 18 years now.
Okay.
And that started in Dallas, that went to Austin, and I've been in San Antonio now for about 9 years. But it's been a fun transition, and San Antonio is home for sure.
San Antonio is home. You know, so many people have interesting things to say about San Antonio. What do you feel the vibe is of the city? I mean, what do you love about it? What makes you stay here?
San Antonio, like many other cities, has little pockets, and the pocket that I fell in love with is the La Cantera Dominion Rim area, just because it has everything I want to do. Lifetime. It's got the HEB 3 minutes away.
He is Mr. Lifetime. He's the mayor of Lifetime, La Cantera at the Rim. So check in with him.
It's a lifestyle, man. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
you know, you go, you see some of the same people, you listen to their stories, you talk to them, you build relationships, even if it's casual relationships. And not to mention, you're going up there and you're sweating and working out and everything else. So I'm a creature of habit. Everything I do is within about a 10-minute drive of me.
Sure.
So I really like this area of San Antonio. With that being said, I had my same pocket in Austin. Yep. I had my same pocket in Dallas.
Yep.
So it leads me to believe that I could find that same consistent routine and circle anywhere I live. And so far, San Antonio has been great to me.
Where were those pockets in Dallas and Austin?
I lived in Uptown in Dallas. And in Austin, we were about 5 minutes away from the Domain.
Domain.
Yep.
Domain, La Cantera kind of has
For
a
sure.
same vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, Power Hour, first 3 places that come to mind of where you just love to spend time. Restaurants, coffee shops. What are the top 3 that you just...
Here in San Antonio, I'm at North Italia generally 2 or 3 days a week, just because it's so convenient. And during the day, it doesn't get overly crowded.
North Italia.
That's what we saw.
The service is always consistent. The food is always consistent. Occasionally, I have espresso martinis, and those are always on point.
On point.
At North Italia. Brazil is another one. It's just, I've been going there for 5 years now.
Thank you, Brazil.
I know they just opened a Fogo de Chao right across the street, so I try them out occasionally. And outside of that, man, I would say my last place that I really like to hang out is I like to go to Brazilian Top Team.
Okay.
That is my brotherhood, my church, my place of peace, my place of violence, all in one. So if you give me those 3 places together, I'm good.
Is that jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, MMA, boxing, all the above.
Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Are you Italian?
I'm sorry?
Are you Italian?
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, because you earlier mentioned Maggiano, so you love Italian. That's your favorite.
I'm joking. I'm not Puerto Rican, but I like Maggiano's just because of the food quality. It's always consistent.
It's consistent as can be. Yeah.
There's some places that you can order DoorDash, and by the time it arrives to your spot in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, all of a sudden it's all kind of frumpy and soggy.
Yeah.
Maggiano's is generally on point.
Absolutely. So, Aron, tell us what you do for a living.
Great question. I am a 1099 consultant by choice. 2 years ago, I had about 100 employees, and we were doing general contracting, which included multifamily repurposing, new developments, building homes, retail centers, looking at projects in multiple states, multiple countries. I enjoyed what I did up until about the last 2 years of it. So when you're riding this high wave of doing very, very well and profitable, it's great. And then you start bringing on more staff because you say, hey, this is a good business decision.
Sure.
When that work starts to slow down and
you
doesn't
still
equal the
have the
staff,
overhead.
and you legitimately have a $100,000 payroll every week,
Yep.
and you're looking at your bank account and you've got $15,000 in the bank on Monday, you know that $100,000 bank payroll is going to come on Friday.
Oh yeah.
It can be devastating. So the
Absolutely.
last year and a half to 2 years, it was waking up at 7 a.m. and dodging bullets. So to answer your question, what I do now, I put myself as a 1099 consultant. I can do everything that I did previously,
Yep.
but everything is worked with subcontractors that I've built relationships with over the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the clients that we have own billions of dollars of assets. Most of those are multifamily. So they'll call us up and say, hey, we just bought a property in Houston, or we just bought a property in Sarasota, and we've got 300 units. We bought this asset for $70 million. We've got $3 million that we want to improve the asset to bump the rents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here's our must-do list, lender requirements. Here's the city requirements that got to be done. And here's our wish list. We'd like to paint the exterior. We want to fix the roofs. We want to build a whole new clubhouse. So we come in and we kind of act as a consultant on the front end and put the budget together of how to spend that money. And then we can also do the heavy lifting if they decide to move forward with that project.
Beautiful. So that's awesome. So you kind of made a decision, how am I using my highest and best use of time, resources, knowledge, wisdom that you've accumulated over the years, and
Absolutely.
transition into something that's now, you're able to help these, investors. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
It was taking back my peace and stability.
Yeah.
I was still able to maintain somewhat of a normal workout regimen during that time, that last few years. And then when everybody's flying high in business, whether it's business partners, associates, or what have you, everybody's flying high.
Mm-hmm.
But when the belt strap tightens up,
Mm-hmm.
it can get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So then you start dealing with business divorces, and those can go on for years and can get very challenging and very ugly at times. So I said, man, I've got this. I was the workhorse. I ran 98% of what was going on in the field. I had the relationships. I took time to learn the crew's names and make sure to treat them like human beings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now if I call these guys at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, they'll answer my call and jump.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a respect thing. It's not a fear thing, right?
Yeah,
it's a mutual respect.
Was that move more of a peace thing or a business?
It was a blend of both.
Both.
It was a blend of both. So whenever you have to start dialing back in business, where I made mistakes is not recognizing red flags sooner than later and continuing to try to appease folks.
Mm-hmm.
I also had folks that had a ton of credibility with me that they had built over 4 or 5 years. So you just assume that they're on point and they're handling their business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had one senior project manager that ended up taking their foot off the gas for about 6 months. And before I realized it, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that should have been used other places than where it was. So, when friends and family get involved, you've got a project manager that's got cousins that has a crew, and they say, hey, we don't have anything for these guys this week. I'm just going to use them over here. And then all of a sudden you see $11,000 for that week for that crew. And we said, hey, I told you to cut these guys 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So you really got to watch, and I respect the guys that can manage 100 people plus staff, and everybody's accountable. But I wish I had done some things a little bit differently whenever it comes to the last year and a half of those business ventures. But man, I tell you, I don't allow myself to stay down for long.
Yeah.
If I get kicked in the pants, I generally say, okay, well, we got kicked in the pants. What did we learn?
Yeah.
Let's do it different next time.
We dealt with something very similar in the call center, which is a venture of some buddies and we had started Man, 11 years ago.
Mhm.
And, it was our first business and it scaled pretty quickly. And we had one massive contract. And that went away one day. And, we got in the people business, right? So we had over 100 employees as well. And, everyone's names, their
Mhm.
daughters, when they've dealt with tragedy,
You become
when
attached.
they become attached. So instead of cutting 50 jobs, we thought, we'll put it on our back. We'll carry you guys until we figure it out. And that is a lesson that I wish on no one to carry those burdens. But, I think that's a lesson in itself because it's not going to be our first one.
Mhm.
So you take that lesson, you go build bigger, but now you know how to make decisions faster. So you
Absolutely.
don't get your legs chopped out from underneath you.
Absolutely. And I dreaded having some of those conversations, especially with people that had depended on me
Yeah.
for
tough.
1 year, 3 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
But to sit down with someone and say, hey, this is where we're at. I'm going to pay you for the next 2 weeks. Please go find a new job now.
Yeah.
We're gonna continue to pay you. And if you get caught in a pinch, call me. But I can't continue to support everything, operations the way that we're going. Otherwise, we won't have operations.
You mentioned something very interesting to me, and I think it's very important that we hit on. When the belt was getting tight,
Mhm.
and I think that's something people don't see all the time. If they don't, right now they look at you and they just see the clean cut, haircut, the nice clothes. They don't know what it took to get here and on this chair today.
Absolutely.
So how did you maintain your sanity, your peace, and continue to be in the position you are today when in that moment when it felt like, the walls are caving in, how did you maintain and keep going?
There were days that, I'd say I'd wake up and dodge bullets.
Yeah.
There were days where I woke up and I would get hit with some new news or a potential legal situation that would punch me right in the gut because I hadn't been there previously.
Sure.
If you see lawsuits in the millions, if you see, terrible accusations, everything else, it's a punch in the gut, and especially if you're blindsided.
Sure.
So in those moments, I said, okay, what is it that I can control? Well, I would wake up, I would make my bed, I would put one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
I would drink my water. I'd go for my walk in the morning without the phone and just breathe. I'd put my feet in the grass and just breathe and say, okay, what is it that we can control today?
Yeah.
And real quick, you start identifying the people around you, your social circle, and going, okay, is this romantic relationship that I'm in, is this helping?
Yeah.
Is this nurturing? Or is this potentially toxic?
Yep.
So you start looking at people around you and going, okay, what's the most important thing? Well, to me, it's my immediate family, which would be my child. I've got a fiance now that's been amazing, and her child. And I say, okay, that's where the focus needs to be. Number one here is I need to take care of myself. I need to stay consistent with my workouts. I need to stay consistent with my diet. I need to stay consistent with my brotherhood at jiu-jitsu. That's a big thing for me. So just not moving from that regiment, from that consistency, allowed me to say, okay, we won't do that again. And now we've got a lot of lessons, not just for myself, that I can share with other people as well. So I enjoy doing that.
Love it.
I feel that to be successful, you have to have those reset moments or those lessons that bring you to a reset and bring you back to like what's important, which is what you
Absolutely.
did. I'm sure we all had to do it. I had to do it before even starting a brokerage. What's important. And like you said, you go back and you look and say, who's here for me, who's not here for me. And it allows you to, when you hit that reset and and restart, you actually flourish and surpass where you were before.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I feel like we all need those. And everybody that's listening, you're going to have those moments where you have to hit reset.
I will agree with you 100%. I have a mentor that I still meet with on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. I'm a mentor to about 6 or 7 different folks. Some of those guys have PhDs attached to their name. Some of these guys are legitimately pulling in $50 million a year and not happy.
Sure.
So I have the opportunity to say, hey, man, well, let me ask you, what is it going to take to recenter and refocus? Let's look at the
Yeah.
totality of your situation. And what does it take to continue to move forward?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing differently?
Yeah.
One guy's like, well, I go to the strip club 4 nights a week, this, that, and the other. And I was like, I got to tell you, brother, that's not it. That's a very temporary Band-Aid. It's the opposite of where you need to be going.
Sure.
So I have a mentor that I get with, and when all of this stuff started to happen as we're tightening up the belts and winding down companies and partnerships and everything else, I sat down with him and said, man, look at everything that I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
He's like, first things first, there's levels. What you're dealing with, I've got a $500 million lawsuit in federal court that's been going on for 7 years.
Yeah.
Relax.
Sure.
Number one, relax.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, that puts it in perspective,
Yeah.
right? So, and he's continued to be a mentor, but it's good to have somebody that you can speak to authentically and feel like you're not being judged,
Yeah.
or like they're not going to go home and go, man, you believe what this guy's
Yeah.
dealing with, what this guy's going through, what he's done, what he's everything. So yes, to your point, levels. He said to me something that was extremely powerful. This is where most people stop.
Yep.
And I said, I hear it loud and clear. And I remind myself, and I even get goosebumps just giving this to you now. This is where most people stop. And I remember so many stories of people that I would think were more talented than me, had more business savvy than me, but made mistakes. Something punched them in the gut,
Yep.
and they stopped.
Yeah.
I just want to pause right there because this is a gem that Aron just stated. Guys, you're going to get punched in the gut. And if you're not getting punched in the gut, you're not going hard enough. I think we all have these goals, these ambitions. We want to go hard. We want to own. We want ownership. We want to reach certain heights of our career. But then when it comes down to it, it's like, are you willing to put it all out there? Are you willing to be vulnerable? Are you willing to go to that next level where you risk failure and you risk looking silly if you do not succeed? And then having the courage, if you fail, to go reach out to a brother, go reach out to a mentor, go seek advice to get to that next level, because there are levels and we know this, right? So I think that is so important to just have the awareness and then have the confidence in yourself to go, hey, I need some help, or hey, I need to realign. We're not in this game alone, but
Absolutely.
I think that's the quickest way to fail is to just go with this path alone and think you have all the answers, because you don't. And someone's been down this path before.
Pride and ego can get in the way of a lot of folks'
That's what I was going to
success, growth, business maturity, relationship maturity, friendship maturity.
Yes.
If somebody is like, man, I drive a Lambo, what do I need to talk to you for? I've already made it. I know I'm struggling with some stuff, but I mean, what advice can you give me?
Yeah.
Man, I got guys that have worked for me as contractors that are going through something, and this is something that I'm very appreciative of, is that now I can say, okay, I've made my own mistakes and I'm not going to do those same mistakes again. Here's my hard line on what I won't do, what I won't negotiate with. Now I've gotten to a point where I can look at other people's mistakes and recognize that I've been through something similar to that, or I can learn from whatever mistake they've gone through, right? Without having judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go a little deeper. And I want to pose this question to maybe all of us, because I think this platform is here for someone to listen to this that may be going through something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's entrepreneurs out there that probably haven't hit that roadblock yet, or that pothole, but they will. Do you have an experience that was just tough that you recall, and, what did you kind of do to get through that specific experience?
Through my life, I didn't grow up in a situation where I was in need of anything. My mom was military. We weren't rich, but we had what we needed. So, and me being the only boy, you can assume that I was spoiled. So
Are we
I didn't.
assuming? Are you telling us you were spoiled?
Definitely was spoiled.
Mm.
So I didn't really have
Hardships.
a hardship until I leaped out on faith and left the corporate world into this world. And that was when I actually we bought a house in 2016. Me and my wife were probably one of the first people within the circle to have to own a home.
Hmm.
We bought a house in 2016, and that's when we were both corporate. Well, when the downfall happened, we rented the house and we had to move back in with my in-laws. So what do you think is all coming at me at that time? I got pride I have to deal with. I'm living in another man's house, so I had to be humbled.
Sheesh.
I remember it like yesterday. I went to Bill Miller's around the corner from her parents' house and went to buy I think it was a sausage, potato, and egg taco. And the card was denied. So what's that, about
Bro,
$2-3?
You didn't have sausage and egg money. That was tough.
And I
Yeah.
remember sitting there. I called my wife. First time I think I've ever really like cried to my wife. But I said, we will never go through this again. So first thing I did, you had to speak it. You had to believe that this will never happen again. So around that time, it was that reset moment. It was, what is important? Why am I doing this? Why did I leave corporate? Wasn't much, but I had an $80,000 job. But I was paying $80,000 a year, benefits, everything. We were okay. Like, you know what I mean? So I had to get back to, why did I make this decision? And then, as you said, reevaluate life and then put my head forward. And like you said, get up one step forward at a time. And this is where we're here today. And I'm sure, and from 2000, that was probably 2018, 19, when I moved back in with my in-laws, to today's 2025. I've had other hiccup moments and other moments where I had to reset. Like I said, but not like that. I didn't have that moment again, but I've had other moments where, you're just like you said, there's levels. Every time before I leap forward, I always have, it's like a valley. You go up a mountaintop, to get to the next mountain, you got to go down, you got to go up. So I always have those valley moments.
That's great. And I think like the sooner that we learn that life is not this ascending straight up journey where, the media tells you in books and fairy tales, like you're going up and down, and that is a successful life, because without any trials, like we cannot enjoy, the good season. So we need to learn how to comfortably be uncomfortable.
Hey, I had this one thing though. When I was living with my in-laws, my wife was at work, my mother-in-law was at work, my father-in-law was home early he's a construction manager, retired military, then he went as a construction manager. And I'm sitting at the table with him. He was eating lunch. He was home for lunch. And this is when I got hit with the test. He goes,
why the hell are you in my house with no job?
He said something worse. He didn't say, it was one of those to throw you off your path. He goes, have you ever considered getting a real job? And I'm sitting there. I'm in his house, and so I couldn't say much back. But I asked him, hey, I had to sit there for a second. And I was like, so many thoughts were going on in my head. I'm sitting here like boiling. And I was like, so what do you consider a real job? And he said, blah, blah, blah. So I just put it back on him. And I was like, hey, when I truly fail, maybe. A year later, he goes, aren't you glad you made that decision?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things, guys, when you're going through this journey, you're going to have a lot of things in your ear or people in your ear, and you're going to have to really dig deep and know why you were doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because it would have been easy. I had a degree. I could have went back to the government job. I could have been a GS-12. I could have went back. But yeah, that was there. And all of those moments I still remember like yesterday. I can remember what he was eating. It was crazy.
Some shredded.
Yeah. Aren't you glad? Or the year follow. Aren't you glad you made the decision? So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Gentlemen, I got to know. So we talk about evolving. journey is incredible. Your journey, thank you. I mean, that was a moment. Like, I probably would have wanted to slap him, strangle him, you know?
Sometimes you need truth serum
Yeah.
from somebody that has a different perspective than you on
Mhm.
life, and whether or not they've had a higher level of success, whatever that means to you, or not, there's lessons to be learned from
Everyone.
other folks.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
So I got to ask you guys, what is something
Mm.
that you're saying no to more often these days?
Oh man, that's a great question. I've got about 3 things, and I'll give you my top one. Complaining. Complaining internally,
Mm-hmm.
and especially complaining externally.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
If I find myself talking about a situation that happened to more than 2 or 3 people, I'm not looking for a fix. I'm simply complaining at that
Sure.
point.
Mm,
And my screensaver on my phone says, "Stop complaining."
Yeah.
man.
So that's top of the totem pole, and I'll second that with hanging around people that complain nonstop, whether it's about their significant other, business, their financial position, their health, their weight, anything.
Yeah. Love it. Ugh. I have a problem. I cannot deal with complaining.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even respond to it.
Yeah.
And it's like sickening to me.
Yeah.
But people do it so naturally, and it's
Yeah.
part of people's just day to day, and it's
It's the way a lot of people bond is through
trauma
complaints,
bonding.
and if they can complain, and if they have a
Familiar
commonality on the
spirits.
complaint,
Yeah.
both of them want to talk about their wives, then they're going to sit there and complain about how bad their wives are for an hour, and then
Yeah.
they're going to go home and act like everything was fine.
Normal. Yeah, absolutely. What about you?
Bad communication.
Mm.
That's mine. It's brought my family together at the beginning of the year and just said, hey, this year we'll be working on communication in every aspect of our life. So bad communication is no. So even with my phone, I'm reading this book and it checked me on having my phone while my son is trying to get my attention, and what I'm sending off to my kids or to anyone in the house when I have my phone and they're trying to talk to me. So every aspect, my daughter plays basketball, communicate. Everything right now for us this year is communication. So no to bad communication.
I love it.
Beautiful. Sincerely.
I think it's something that I'm really focused on this year, and it's kind of an admission, but I don't feel like I've been working as hard as I can. Like, I don't think I've been pushing myself to my full potential. I don't think I've been holding myself to a standard that I'm acceptable with. So this year I'm not allowing mediocrity in my circle. You know, if we got something that needs to get done, and you know, we're a team, we're a group, like I'm holding from my son to the family to my partners to my staff. You know, I'm an asshole to everybody right now. It's January, so it's coming out a little strong, but if we're running, we're all running next to each other. You've seen a pack of wild Mustangs and they run and they look great in the commercial. Their hair's blowing in the wind, and that's going to be us. You know, I'm not allowing mediocrity around me anymore. So that's something I'm saying no to. I don't want it around me. And if I have to cut ties with people that I love, then I'm going to, but I want to live a fulfilled life, a satisfying, purposeful, peaceful life. And if someone can't, you know, grab onto that, then I love you and will love you from a distance.
Absolutely. I think you hit on a good point of evaluating people along the way. And if they don't want to keep up, then, we'll still be buddies. I'll still
Yeah.
see you at the gym. I'll still see you here, there, and the other. But drawing that line of going, man, I probably won't pour a whole lot of energy into this relationship. Right.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Aron, you have a special skill that I have been trying to work on personally. I remember seeing you a million times at Lifetime, where you are the mayor of. And you just kept coming up to me, and I'm the guy with the headphones on, jamming, just in my own world. Wake up and I'd take all the problems straight to the gym, and I'm battling with them there, but you just continue to just love on me and forged a relationship. And that's a skill, man. And where does that come from? Where did you develop this skill of just interacting with people and just having a genuine concern and care and willingness to open up to complete strangers?
Man, I tell you, you never know what someone's going through in life.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see different people at the gym on a consistent basis, or when I see them at HEB, or when I see them at North Italia, I try to remember names. I try to remember the last conversation that we had, because I want them to feel, I understand, and it is what it is. I look like I could be a douchebag, or like I could be, not a nice guy, right? I've got the hair, the muscles, the tattoos, the goatee, everything. And, a lot of people will look at that and go, man, this guy's a douche, or he's got bad intentions. So I try to break down those barriers and just be real and be authentic. You never know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
And because of the way you and I met, there was another gentleman, similar story. He always had his headphones on. And I would just consistently say, hey, hello to him. I'd walk up, I'd shake his hand, say, hey, man, good to see you today. What are you working out? Just keep it simple and keep it moving, right? 20 seconds. He comes up to me about a year and a half later. He goes, hey, Aron, is there something that I could talk to you outside of the gym about? I said, absolutely. What do you got? He goes, man, I got to tell you. And I'm telling you, good looking guy, outfits put together, muscular. He's dedicated. He's got a successful job. He's got all the boxes that a real woman, a real partner would want, right? He finally comes to me and he goes, man, I have to tell you, I am such an introvert. I have a tough time talking to guys, and me talking to women is almost completely impossible. I haven't been in a relationship in 4 years.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's because I don't know how to approach people and talk to people without feeling awkward.
Yeah.
I said, perfect. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Man, I spent a year and a half almost every week with that guy on the phone or in person. And man, it's tough for me not to get a little bit teary-eyed when I say this, but walked him through a date with a young lady and said, hey,
Did you have like an earpiece in his ear?
No, I didn't get that far. But I said, hey, man, go clean your car. Offer to pick her up.
Yeah.
Have a flower. Don't overdo it. What does she like to do? She loves books. She loves to read books. Take her to a library. Take her to Barnes and Noble, right? You guys have that commonality. And, here we are a year and a half later since those conversations, and now they're married and they got a baby on the way.
Sheesh.
And they moved to Dallas together. And I'll tell you, that's one of those beautiful, fulfilling stories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And, you'll see somebody else at the gym that's got their game face on. It's like, get out of my way. You never know what they're dealing with. And I go, hey, man, how you doing today, brother? Takes the headphones off. He's like, man, my dad just had a heart attack. And I'm just trying my best to keep it together.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my dad, I have that commonality where I can talk to him a little bit and just add a little bit of value and comfort to what he's going through. And if he wants to talk about it, great. And if not, that's fine as well. But I genuinely care for people from all walks of life. I've got guys that work for me that make $10 an hour that are beautiful human beings. And then we've got top level executives that are good people. And then on the other side of that, you got other people that'll rob you blind, steal you blind, and smile the entire time they're doing it. But I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I like to break through those barriers and just say, hey, man, how you doing today?
Question on that. So we had a great conversation with Shishman here last week, and we were talking about access, and this is something that does get a little more challenging as you ascend in your career. You can't be as accessible to everyone. How do you balance that with, people do see that, you have a bit of success, or you got a nice car, or they think you are this person, or they see momentum going and everyone wants to be around you, but vultures are out there, and you got to protect yourself at the same time. So how do you balance keeping the moat protected and not letting the vultures into your circle? And because one thing that I do believe, you're personally, the only reason I'm sitting in this chair myself and at this place in life is just I talk to myself so highly. every day. You know, I'm
Mhm.
telling myself that before, you know, anything has been created, like I've talked to myself about this years ago, you know? So I speak everything to an existence. So I cannot allow any sort of negativity to come into my space. And so not even like the negative side, but you know, there's just so many people out there that do wish ill upon us. And how do you kind of, as being so outgoing and a people person, how do you keep your
Most of
energy and your space clean?
Great question, and that's very real in every level. I've gotten really good at evaluating people's
discernment. Yeah.
intentions out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what industry they're in, what they're trying to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
if I'll give almost anybody 30 minutes of my time.
Sure.
If somebody says, "Hey man, I've got this thing I want to talk to you about."
Yeah.
Even if I feel like something's off or something whatever, I will give them 30 minutes of my time and I will ask them the toughest and most direct questions.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hoping to get from this?
Yeah.
What's your goal? How far along are you? What have you done?
Yeah.
And just dig right in and say, "Hey man, here's where you're at from what I see.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the next step. Let me introduce you to someone
Yeah.
that might be able to help you get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't be interested in participating in this, but perhaps I can introduce you to other people." Or I can say, "Hey man, you're way too early in the game. However, if you pivot this way,
Mm-hmm.
there may be an opportunity for you."
Yeah.
Right? But but I've also gotten very stingy. I've got some guys that and I'm guilty of this as well, that get shiny object syndrome, where you go, "Oh, you want to sell
Online courses.
supplements,
Yeah.
you want to sell this, you want to sell that, you want to start this company." And I have to say, "Okay, we'll sit down 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Let's talk about it,
Yeah.
see how real it is, ask the tough questions. And if it's a viable opportunity, then yeah, let's have another conversation and keep going from there. And if not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested, but here's what I would recommend that you do next."
Yeah.
Right?
Takes a high level of discernment for what you do when
Yeah.
you're going to all those different people. So I assumed you're pretty good at discerning.
I, you know,
Yeah.
I have people that have become very successful over the years, and I watch how they move. I listen to what they say, to what they don't say, to it's short, it's direct,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, what happened here? How did that happen? Why did it happen? Okay, what are we going to do to avoid that next time?" Perfect. Okay, I got to go. They're straight. There's no fluff. And again, if you sit down with somebody and they've got 3 business ideas in their first sentence, you go, "Okay, man,
Yeah.
listen, I have been where you're at right now. I appreciate that you are so enthusiastic about doing all this stuff. However, there's only one you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your working capital?
Yeah.
And if it's 0, that's okay.
Sure.
If you've got 50 grand, that's cool too. I don't care what the number is, but in order for me to help you, we have to have an honest conversation
Mm-hmm.
as to where you're at, what you're doing, and where you're hoping to go."
So question, if someone's listening and they want to start a business right now, they have an idea, they want to
Mhm.
get in the roofing business, or they want to start a online business, what would you do right now? I mean, what advice would you give to an up and coming entrepreneur that wants to start something?
I had a gentleman that came to me that had just graduated from UTSA and said, "Hey, I want to do something that's meaningful but also makes money."
Mm-hmm.
And what that is he wanted to start selling uh, farm to table,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's a big undertaking,
Yeah.
right? And I said, "Okay, I know nothing about farm to table,
Mm-hmm.
but here's 2 places that I looked up in between our initial conversation at the gym and then our meeting to sit down and spend 45 minutes together. These 2 places are currently doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What you should do is go out there and offer an internship.
There we go.
See if I can come spend 2 months, 1 month, seeing what you do, how you do it, your processes, your procedures, the shortcuts, the real pieces of it. And by time the internship is over, you may say, "Psh,
Don't want to do
no
it.
chance. I
Yeah.
don't want to be up at 3:30 in the morning doing A, B, C, D, F, G covered in mud." So if I have the industry knowledge, which construction all day long, roofing all day long, multifamily, new construction, renovations, flips, I can do that within 48 hours, come up with a $3 million budget to go flip a 300 unit property just because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
To go build a luxury home at $375 a square foot, to build a garden style home at $165 a square foot. I've got that all day long.
Yeah.
But if I don't know what they're wanting to get into, I will say, man, I know nothing about that.
I love that. Yeah.
However, I've done a little bit of research.
Yeah.
And this is what I would encourage you to do next if that's truly what you're passionate about.
Yeah. I love what you said, and it's something that Alan and I say very often here. If you're starting out with something, so many people want to skip steps these days. I think we live in this generation where everything is on social media, where you see,
highlight reels.
We see life through highlight reels, but there's nothing that trumps experience. So you're saying if it comes down to building this luxurious home at 370, like you got that easy, but that came with experience.
Absolutely.
There was no guessing. It was hard knocks, learning, doing. And that's what we tell agents here all the time is, people go to school and, I don't give a shit, how many hours you have. I want to see experience. Because when it comes down to taking care of a client, nothing trumps experience, and they deserve that. If someone's going to trade you their hard-earned money, they deserve experience and quality and care, which you cannot deliver if you do not have experience.
I'll add to that experience, but also a good business mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know a lot of guys that have been an architect for 20 or 30 years, but man, they don't know how to work a Zoom call. They don't know how to operate in today's world.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Right? So you have to have experience, and then you also have to have somebody that is responsive. And, again, I've dealt with some high-end legal firms, high-end property management, private equity guys that don't touch anything under $100 million. And just to see and just listen to the conversations going back and forth between everybody, man, those lessons are so valuable to me.
Yeah.
And I can pass that along, not just from a experience of the actual verbiage of that conversation, but how they're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got one guy that has no idea what plan you're talking about, he didn't read the memo before the call, he's completely clueless, so you spend the first 15 or 20 minutes of that call,
mm-hmm.
that private equity guy may say, why would I want to do business with a guy that can't even read a one-page memo?
Mm-hmm.
Or read a Word document or open up a PDF because of that. So I think experience definitely is a must. The other piece of that is to be able to keep up in today's world, because I don't want to call my architect 5 times over the same topic. I want to call him once and say, can you get this done in the next 48 hours? And him say, yeah, I can. Or no, I can't. Here's why, but here's a realistic expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a customer service piece of it to a people aspect of it, along with the experience portion.
Love it.
I feel that's why when you asked the question, if we could start back over again, and mine was finding a partner or someone to do it with, because when you're starting off a business initially, you're not going to be able to do it all, or you're not going to have every characteristic that is needed. But sometimes, like me and Barlow are similar, but there's two things. There's something he has a strong suit and I have a strong suit. So when you have two people, I feel starting a business, sometimes it helps. So like someone that's new, they might want to also find someone to start their business with.
Absolutely. It's important to have mentors along the way.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, this is my last question for you today, but you mentioned mentors, and I sat down with an advisor that I look up to, someone extremely successful. He told me, lay everything out for me. What do we have going on? And then proceeded to tell me, thought I was doing okay, that I'm not thinking big enough. So I have some very ambitious goals for this year, but I really had to realize for me to accomplish those things, it all starts with the little things. It's not just, it's all a mindset, because the amount of work that I'm doing to hit this goal is the same amount of work realistically for me to double that. So, what would you say this year that you guys are kind of focused on? And this could be personal, spiritual, physical. I mean, what are you hoping to make an impact on in your own lives this year, or family, or what's the focus? What's one thing that you guys are really dialed into?
It's a little bit about everything that we've talked about today.
Mm,
Communication
mhm,
with myself, my child, my fiance, with everybody that I talk to on a daily basis.
mhm,
I never get above a level 3 emotionally
mhm.
if I am upset about something.
Yeah.
Externally. Internally, I may be going,
11.
"You gotta be kidding me. Why are we having this conversation?" But internally, or externally, they won't see me flinch. I'll say,
Yeah.
"Okay, I understand. Give me about 30 minutes to digest that, and let me get back to you if you
Yeah.
don't mind." It's setting that tone across the companies, the friendships, the romantic relationship,
Mhm.
as a father, is setting that tone. One more example I'll give you. I'm riding with my child, my 14-year-old daughter, and this car runs a stop sign. We had to kind of slam on the brakes, wasn't too crazy, and missed him. And she's like, "Dad, are you not upset? Are you not honking? Why aren't you, like, I'm freaking out right now. Why aren't you freaking out?" I said, "Did we hit him?" She goes, "No." I said, "Did he make a mistake?" I said, "Yeah." Okay. My reaction to what he did, we didn't hit cars. We're okay. Now, would I have replayed that differently for him if I had the opportunity? Yeah, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
It's already passed. So why allow that moment to take 30 minutes of my day
Yeah.
going, "Okay, let me follow this cat and prove a point,"
Sure.
right? So I think communication, emotional stability, regulating my own emotional stability, and that's complaining, and then focusing on making sure that we're working on the larger jobs.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say is we have a lot of people that'll bring us the smaller, "Hey, I got a bathroom remodel. Hey, I want to flip a kitchen. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do that." That's easy to get sidetracked.
Mhm.
We want myself. I want to go look at the $500,000 plus
Sure.
opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get sidetracked with those
Yeah.
smaller things. Again, shiny object syndrome.
Yes.
Mhm.
Man, huge, I think, for men in general, emotional intelligence right now, emotional stability is it should be the number one trending thing that we need to focus on. We need to be better at. I don't think we're taught that very well in our homes as young men, young boys. You know, I think when we were growing up, we were just taught to be tough,
Yep.
and you just deal with things. And telling someone to deal with something rather than showing them how, giving them the tools, is two completely different things. So I think that's a huge thing that, we need to continue to champion, in our own daily walks. And I know you do it, and that was a great share.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's extremely important. I know myself, I still get pissed off when someone cuts me off, but I'm working on it.
You getting better.
Oh, for sure.
No,
No,
for
no
sure.
doubt. I mean,
When somebody honks a horn at me, I just go,
yeah,
"Hey, how you doing? You guys doing okay?"
yeah.
For me this year, we're kind of it's crazy. We're kind of all sitting here, and it's pretty much the same thing. Me and him have been talking about not getting sidetracked with some of the smaller things,
Mhm.
and on our end, it becomes we have to be okay with delegating more. We delegate, but delegating more to accomplish those bigger dreams or those bigger goals and ambitions that we have. So for me, it is for this year, as far as business wise, is not getting sidetracked with the small. You know what I mean? Keeping
Absolutely.
the main thing. We have some goals, and we're more than capable of doing them. We have the resources. It's just getting, you know, like you said, those little quick jobs. The money's there. You know that money's gonna happen fast. Anything 500 mil or up, that's gonna take some time. So Yeah.
You know, I know we've covered quite a bit today. To the folks that are out there, what I would say to young entrepreneurs is to find a mentor. I'm accessible. If you ever want to reach out, I'm on Instagram, Aron Lofton, AronLofton, just to talk to people. I want nothing from you. I'm here just to add value. If you don't have someone else that you can talk to, there's a lot of mentors out there that are willing to help you, but they also want something in return. I'm happy to give honest feedback, and I've had mentors along the way. So if there's an opportunity that we could connect, great. You've got two handsome young gentlemen right here that are up and coming, and that are continuing to up and come, and that as we all are, that I'm sure would be happy to hear from you as well. And
Absolutely.
I think the whole purpose of this podcast is to help folks that are going through something or that are stuck at a ledge and don't know what to do next.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So I think having accessibility would be my kind of my closing statement.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for being a part of the community. And as
Thank
Aron
you.
mentioned, this is a community where we want to bring great resources. We hope you enjoyed the show today. Please reach out to Aron. He has a wealth of knowledge. And of course, we're here for you as well. We'll see you next week.